So for this question, it says it gives you the formula of rust, and it says that it's hydrated iron oxide. Calculate the mass of 1 mole of hydrated iron oxide. Mass of 1 mole is just the MR, so we just need to calculate the MR of this. So here you have the MR. Because it says mass of 1 mole, so I'm giving my answer in grams. Use your answer in part 1 to calculate the percentage of iron. So percentage of iron will be the AR of iron times how many ions you have. So there's 2 divided by the MR of the molecule. So that gives me times 100. Please don't forget that it's a percentage. So times 100, that gives me 57.1%. Okay. Then it says benzene contains this amount of carbon. Actually, for this question, you have to know that benzene is a hydrocarbon, which means that it contains only carbon and hydrogen. So if there is 92.3% of carbon, means the rest is hydrogen. So what's the percentage of hydrogen? It's just 100 minus 92.3. So here, that's it. We are not actually using the MR over here. You're going to see that this is part of another question which requires the MR. Here I just wanted you to see that percentage can also be calculated by a subtraction if you know that it contains only 2 elements. So hydrocarbon contains hydrogen and carbon only by definition. If there is 92.3% of carbon, hence the rest will be hydrogen. Then you have this question about gypsum. You need to calculate the value of X. So it contains 20.9% of water, and you need to find the number of moles in this grams of calcium sulfate. So here it's assuming that if 20.9% is water, means that the rest, which is 79.1%, this has to be the calcium sulfate. So if you look at the hydrated calcium sulfate, CaSO4.XH2O, if we were to dissociate this, that would give us calcium sulfate plus H2O. So if we get the number of moles of calcium sulfate, we will get the value of X, which will be the number of moles of water. Okay, so which will be equal to X over here. So how do you find the number of moles of calcium sulfate? So number of moles is mass over MR. So the MR of calcium sulfate is given. So it will be 79.1 divided by 136. So this is the number of moles of calcium sulfate, and the number of moles of water would be the mass divided by the MR of water. So 20.9 divided by 18 here. Now from these two values, how do we get the value of X? If you look at this, so calcium sulfate is giving, the hydrated salt is giving calcium sulfate and water. So here it's 1:X. If you look at this ratio, the ratio of calcium sulfate is to water. This is 1:X. But when we've done the calculation, it's 0.58 is to 1.16. So how do you find X? So X would just be 1.16 divided by 0.58, which will give me 2.00. So hence the value of X rounded up to, so you need to round this up to the nearest whole number. X is equal to 2. So hence the formula of the hydrated salt is calcium sulfate dot 2H2O. Here you go.